Okay, so we hope that gives you an idea of kind of the thought process when you're going into Trader Joe's. And if you guys have some Trader Joe favorites, go ahead and share those with us because we, like we said, we're just dipping our toes into that aspect of it.
Yeah.
I don't really get over there, so if there's something I gotta try.
She's like, I don't know.
I would stand there paralyzed because I would be like, I don't know enough information. This is driving me insane.
Well, that's why we do Wines to Find, to take the WTF out for you.
Exactly. So hopefully we helped you a little bit, and that makes that journey next time a little bit easier, that visit to Trader Joe's. And hi, I'm Michelle.
And I'm Sandy. We're the hosts of Wines to Find, a podcast, and now a YouTube channel.
That's right, and we would like to invite you to follow us on all of our platforms. We are on Instagram as @Wines to Find Podcast. We are on all of the podcast mediums as
almost all.
all.
You may find one that's here or there, maybe
pretty much all of them. So we're Wines to Find, the podcast, and also Facebook. We're on Wines. We're just
Facebook,
Wines
Instagram, Twitter. We're out there.
Yes, we're there. And if you do enjoy this video, please give us a thumbs up. And if you enjoy the podcast, please take a moment to do an Apple podcast review. If you subscribe to Apple Podcasts or use Apple Podcasts, we do appreciate those. And a little kind comment on YouTube or Instagram also helps us know that we're in the right direction and doing the right thing.
Exactly.
So what's our topic today?
Our topic today is Trader Joe wines. We have had people DM us, ask us to feature Trader Joe wines. So we decided to go and see what's available. I shop at Trader Joe's a good bit. Michelle does not. I go about once a month.
Okay, and it is, for us, it is about 45 minutes away from where we live, and I just don't have that bandwidth to go even once a month. So that's not a stop on my regular tour, but I have been to one, and I do know that there are some good wines there. And I remember back in the day getting $2 Chuck.
Yeah, $2 Chuck was the original introduction to wine. Now I think it's actually $2.99.
Yeah, it's $3 Chuck now. Inflation,
So what they do, they actually have the $2 Chuck is their own signature. It's theirs. So that's $2 Chuck is Trader Joe's. They have somebody produce that wine for them.
And since I'm not as frequent a shopper there, I asked Sandy, I said, well, do they have, what types of it, do they have kinds of wines that you can get at regular grocery stores? And she said, yes.
Oh yeah, they don't just have Trader Joe wines. They have regular wines that you can get at the grocery store. The prices are comparable, if not maybe $1 or $2 less than a regular grocery store. And they range
anywhere from the $3.99 $2 Chuck
up to the higher end, maybe $20-$30. Not so many,
but they're not going to break the bank.
No, the majority of them are, I'd say, under $20.
Okay.
All three that we have featured today are under $20.
And all three that we are featuring today are Trader Joe label. And
and the reason why we decided to choose just the Trader Joe label is because they have different categories of quality,
and we wanted to feature that. So
yes,
they have their label, and then they have
their label, which is the $2 Chuck, the $2.99. Then they have the Reserve, which is, I believe, no, not that one. I believe this one.
And by label, we actually it actually says Trader Joe's, and this one is Platinum Reserve, and
this is the Reserve, and then you have the Grand Reserve. So you have three different levels of quality and what
price.
They do and price. This one, the Platinum was $14.99. The Petit Verdot was $9.99, and the Chardonnay was $12.99.
So what you have is Platinum is obviously the higher. Then you have your Grand, which is in the middle, and then you have your Reserve, which is technically the lower end.
While we're talking about these, do we want to go ahead and try it?
Sure.
Let's start with the white.
Yeah. Not always.
Not always.
This time we're pretty close or fair in saying we're going to go Chardonnay and that be the lighter.
They also have another, category, another level. It's called the Growers. What is it? The
Growers Reserve.
The Growers Reserve. Yes, the Growers Reserve. I did not see one that I wanted to get, so I don't have that picture. I put one I took a picture though, but I didn't want to get it.
We'll share what that looks like and what we learned about that. So now this one, now the interesting thing about these, as we get into it, they simply say what the varietal is and then what the growing area is. So
and the year and the vintage. So this one is a Chardonnay from Napa Valley, and it says 2018 and it has lot 85. Now what we've heard that people do, what they do is Trader Joe's contracts with the winemakers or the vineyards, and they purchase the leftover stock or inventory and then put their labels. Yep, and then they put their label
much
on
like, so much like we were talking what happens when you go into the grocery store and they have their own label. I've heard that sometimes is the same as whatever the name brand is.
Yeah.
It's just a different label on it.
You could have a Reynolds Wrap inside your store brand.
Right. So you could have, I'm not going to name a name, but you could have a known name.
Yeah, we don't know any names. I did call Trader Joe's to ask them at their customer service if they could shed some light on these wines.
Just doing our research and our
doing our due diligence
to help you guys.
And they would not share any information. They said it was
sure
proprietary.
That's top secret proprietary.
I'm sure.
We're not giving you any information on
but
that.
I had to try.
All right.
So cheers.
Cheers. I smelled oak right off the bat. I will say that.
I did too.
And vanilla.
I'm tasting.
That's pleasant.
It is. Not bad. Not bad for a Chardonnay.
It is pretty oaky.
Yeah.
It doesn't have quite a long finish. It's a medium finish, I would say. It's not quick. But it doesn't have a lot of depth of flavor to me. It's oak.
Vanilla and oak.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's basic Chardonnay.
Yeah, but, it's...
That was $10.99.
No, this one was $12.99.
That's still, I mean, Chardonnays can get up there, so that's a good price.
And we don't really know much other than Napa Valley.
So that's a large area.
It is a large area, but the good thing about Chardonnay is that you know that it's a pretty easy grape to grow, and they are able to grow it very well in Napa Valley. So I felt confident that this would be a good representation of a Chardonnay, and that's what I got.
And it is, yeah. I mean, it certainly is. I've had, just not knowing what I was getting and going and randomly purchasing a Total Wine, something that tastes not as good as this.
Yeah, for sure. I would definitely say that. You could try this.
Okay. Now, out of our other two options, do we want to go Pinot Noir and then Petit Verdot?
Yes, let's do the...
So this would be the Platinum Reserve,
and we are going backwards. Did you almost? Because this, in the middle.
In the
as far as the level of quality
level, yeah. According to the little label. Now this, you purchased it for a specific reason based on the growing area, which is Carneros, which is one of the AVAs in Napa Valley. Which is more specific information because the Chardonnay just says Napa Valley, but
this one actually says Carneros, which is one of the 16 AVAs, which is the viticulture region. It's a sub-region in Napa Valley. So Napa Valley, and then you have the subs, and Carneros is one of the sub-16s in Napa Valley. Right. And the reason why I knew or wanted to try this Pinot is because Carneros is known for having its mountain range. It almost has some open space where the cool ocean breeze, it's closer to the ocean.
Closer to the coast.
So it brings in that cool ocean breeze and cools the grapes down so that they don't mature as fast to be able to get the deeper ripening. And it helps to eliminate some of the mold issues that can be caused, and Pinot Noir can have that finickiness.
And so they are known, that area, for doing mostly either sparkling or Pinot Noir. So we knew that this would be a good region to pick from, and a Platinum Reserve. So you're a little bit higher.
A little bit higher.
And Pinots tend to, for me, you do have to go a little bit higher on them.
Yes, you do. But so I was really curious to see if I can get a good $15 Pinot.
Which would be nice.
The color is...
It's very light.
It is very light.
It's pretty.
It is a very pretty color.
It's very pretty.
It's almost raspberry looking.
And I like my raspberry.
There isn't really any brown or anything on it. What year is this? Is it 2018 also?
Yeah. And this one says lot 79. Now I do get a
Smells
little
like
bit of
strawberry.
berry. Yeah, strawberry and cherry. More red fruit than black fruit.
Oh, for sure. It's not bad.
It's getting a little bit more character there. There is some oak or some.
There is, but it's not heavily oaked.
It's not, but you
I
can
would
definitely
this. I
taste
think it would taste better even with food. I think
better
it
with
would
food.
help balance it out.
And it's too hot.
It is too hot.
We didn't chill it.
Yeah. I think you would like it better if it was cooler.
It would, yeah. I find a Pinot Noir definitely needs to be served.
All right, ready for the third one, Michelle?
Let's try number 3 and see.
Okay. This is the Petit Verdot. Now, my rationale behind this was something else. We have recently done a wine tasting or a wine episode with Pasa
podcast.
A podcast with Pasa Robles. So
with Wine Shine, who
you're going to go ahead and
I am, because it's fantastic. You have to listen to the podcast.
It's not out yet. It comes out the first Thursday in September.
But we talk about what is brandy, and brandy actually is made from grapes or wine. Or juice that is going to be wine.
Going to be wine.
According to Patrick, it is what grape juice it wants to be when it grows up.
Yeah,
so
that's a tagline.
And it's
there, let me
so
tell you.
much fun. Wine Shine. So at Paso Robles, Tin City, all of that is just it's its own thing. So you have to check that out. And so that kind of piqued your interest
That
in Paso.
did. So I was like, okay, we had 2 wines from that area. Then I had not had a straight up 100% Petit Verdot. So I wanted to try it.
There we go.
And Petit Verdot is supposed to be really dark.
It is. It's going to be very purple, which this is. And it's a dense color, which this is. And it's, let's just.
Very cherry. Wow.
Very dark. Very
dark, very cherry. Ooh, tannic too. A little puckery.
That's not the one. I thought it said soft tannins, but they do have little. So in this one, it is. Yeah. It says juicy blackberry mixed with lavender on the palate with extremely soft, supple tannins.
But I taste them.
They're there.
They're there. Yeah. So, but it's good, not in a bad way.
No.
And I believe this bottle was $9.99. So that's not bad. I can see this with a good juicy steak.
I can see this with a steak or a burger. This would be nice with a ham, like a good.
It would be good with
hamburger, like a good
an 80-20 hamburger.
Yeah, with that little bit of grease and fat and some cheese on it. That's what I would do this with.
Not bad. I think particularly if you're having a party and you need to buy a lot, I think these would be
good
perfect,
options.
Happy crowd pleasers. I think most people would enjoy these.
Right. And the only concern that I would have is when I go to that unknown and lesser is whether or not it would give me a headache. A lot of times those
right. So this is the trap. It kind of depends on what you're going for. We say that wine has a purpose for everything. Every wine has a purpose somewhere. If you wanted to really get into the terroir, to the vintage, to the single vineyard,
to the maker,
that's not what this is. But is it a good, easy drinking wine that? Yeah,
at a great price. And what I was going to say is,
the other caveat: you don't know if it's organically grown, you don't know if it's biodynamic, you don't know if it's sustainable. And some people
ethically treated, right? You want to know where your dollars are going, so that is important to some people. But what I was going to say is, what I would do is use the wine wand on this unknown that I don't know, because I don't know if I were going to say, well, I really like it. But because it might affect me poorly the next day, what I would do is just wine wand it, and you can check
use
those
that
out,
filter,
and that would take out that concern for me.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't even think of that. So you already know going ahead.
This would be an appropriate.
Since it's so unknown, you would go ahead and use one on that.
I would. Yeah.
Okay, very
And what
good.
the wine wand does is it just removes the histamines, which for anyone that happens to have that reaction, especially like this was very oaky, and I do think I have a little bit of an oak reaction.
Oak allergy.
So I would want to just dip the wand in there and make sure that I was taking out anything that might react negatively to me, which has nothing to do with anybody else. It's just me. So anyway, I think that if you guys were looking for some good information on Trader Joe wines, we've just given you some. Do we want to rate these guys?
We can.
Okay. In terms of, let's go 1 to 3.
Our rating system is 1 to 5. 1 is where you would throw it in the throw it in on the sink. Throw it in the sink. 2 is go ahead and finish the glass. 3 is have another glass. 4 is buy a bottle, and 5 is buy a case.
That's right. I'll go. I'm not gonna buy a case of any of this. But I would probably buy or have another glass. I'm not certain that I would buy another bottle of any of it right now. But like, let's go just Chardonnay. On the Chardonnay, I would say that this is a 2.5 to a 3. And I would have to just make sure about that oak. So that's for me. And I would have to wine wand it, which then adds to the price. So then that becomes a negative for me. And maybe I would just step up in order to avoid that. And then, that's a 2.5 to 3 quarts for me. Do we want to go by bottle, or do we want to go all?
I would give that a 1.
Okay, but you don't like Chardonnay.
I don't like Chardonnay. So yeah, I don't like Chardonnay. So this would not. I probably won't finish this glass.
Yeah, and I like Chardonnay. So I mean, I would figure out a way to make that work, but I know that the concern with it having so much oak right out the nose and everything, that I would probably avoid that because of me. Okay, so then the Pinot Noir, it's $14.99. It's a good price. I've never had that issue. Pinots usually aren't heavily oaked, so I've never really had it, and we've only had so many of those.
Yeah.
So this one might be an interesting. I would have to give this a 3.5, just because I want to have more of it to see how I react and to see if I can get more depth out of it.
What about the Petit Verdot?
Well, we did by bottle, so you say what you would do.
Oh, okay. So for the Pinot, I would give that probably a 4. I see myself being able to go by that if I had a large party at my house.
A group gathering.
That I can see going and buying that for
an
a
occasion
dinner.
where you have to have a lot of wine.
Yep.
Because it's a good price.
I do. I think it's a good price, and I think it's an easy drinking Pinot.
Yeah. And so the Petit Verdot, I'm going to say that I'm very intrigued by it, and I would love to have a hamburger with it. So I would, and at $9.99, even if you have to wine wand it, it's still not.
It's still a good price.
Yeah. So I would probably give that one a 3.5 too. I would not going to say a 4 because I might not drive all the way across town just to buy it. But if it were more convenient to me, I probably would make it more of a regular purchase.
Well, I think I'll give it a 4 because I can see myself buying that one again just so that I can have it with dinner.
Yeah.
And it's a good weeknight bottle.
Middle of the week type.
Yes.
Because it's inexpensive. And
because it's $10. If it was more than $10, I probably wouldn't.
No. Okay, so we hope that gives you an idea of kind of the thought process when you're going into Trader Joe's. And if you guys have some Trader Joe favorites, go ahead and share those with us, because we, like we said, we're just dipping our toes into that aspect of it.
Yeah.
I don't really get over there, so if there's something I gotta try.
She's like, I don't know.
I would stand there paralyzed because I would be like, I don't know enough information. This is driving me insane.
Well, that's why we do Wines to Find, to take the WTF out for you.
Exactly. So hopefully we helped you a little bit, and that makes that journey next time a little bit easier, that visit to Trader Joe's. And
out for you.
Exactly. So hopefully we helped you a little bit, and that makes that journey next time a little bit easier, that visit to Trader Joe's. And we hope that you enjoyed it, and we hope you'll join us next time on Wines to Find.